Free soccer here from Emmett Field at home stadium as we're all evened up at 1 after 90 minutes of play between Boston University and Bucknell University. Let's show you the goals and how we got here. It was a first half goal assisted by Mac McGuire to Felix DeBona, who just headed that beautifully at the 29-minute mark. And at the 48-minute mark, it was Jesse Klug who tallied his team-leading 9th goal of the season, as he pounded in the equalizer with a great touch around the defender. It was a hard shot to the back of the net as Klug tallied the equalizer as we're all evened up at 1. 17 shots for the Bison, just 8 for the Terriers. Bucknell has split time with their goalies. They've used Clark Fox for the entire first half, Mike Lancey for the entire second half. As, look, Boston's was out one of their key freshmen, David Amirani, who's on the bench. 4 goals, 2 assists, 6'5", 205-pounder. He's on the bench with a right knee injury, and that's a huge loss for the Terriers, and maybe that's why Bucknell has been able to rally in that second half, and now it's the first to score in overtime. We'll play a 10-minute period. If we still need more time, we'll play another 10-minute period, and then we'll call it a tie. Now, here are the comprehensive stats. Look how about the corners. Only 2 corners for Boston University, and their first corner came 77 minutes into this game. So they had 2 corners in the final 13 minutes. Both teams have not committed too many fouls, 6 juxtaposed to 5. But the shots, I mean, Bucknell's really come out with a sense of urgency, particularly in the second half, where they always outshoot their opponents. So Bucknell's trying to avoid their 6th one-goal loss this season. Meanwhile, Boston University, they're trying to remain pretty much unblemished since September 7th. If they either tie or win this game, they'll only have 1 loss in their last 14 games. That's how good the Terriers have been. Terriers 11-3-3 overall, 6-0-2 in conference play. Bucknell 8-9-1 overall, 4-3-1 in conference play. So the Terriers are in their red jerseys going left to right on your monitor. The Bison are in their white jerseys going right to left on your screen. I am Justin Antweil, live from Emmett Field at home stadium. Free soccer. We know the Terriers have wrapped up the number 1 seed in the upcoming Patriot League Conference tournament that will begin on Tuesday. And we know, since Lehigh won earlier today against Holy Cross, that now Bucknell, no matter what happens in this overtime session, will be the 5 seed and will be taking on Lehigh on Tuesday in the quarterfinals in Lehigh. Bucknell lost to Lehigh in the regular season right here in Lewisburg by a final score of 2-1. But I don't think the players even know the result of the Lehigh game, and I doubt Coach Nash addressed that in that 5-minute intermission between the end of regulation and the start of overtime. And the last thing you want to tell your team is you don't want them to get deflated and be like, oh, you know what, guys, we're going to Lehigh no matter what. Just mail it in. This is a litmus test for Bucknell. I mean, they are playing against clearly the best team. I mean, this is a Boston University team that's so good, even if they have a hiccup in the Patriot League Conference tournament, they still have a decent chance to make the field of 48 in the NCAA tournament as an at-large seed. They're going to bring it up. Here's the Bison. Turnover, it's Connor Willings. Willings over to Jesse Klug. Klug back out to Leibensberger. Hit down the near sideline. Connor Willings out of Orlando, Florida, will center it. Pass is intended for Chris Thorsheim, but it goes wide. 7:40 to go. And Boston University, they could have taken a very different approach to this game. They could have rested a lot of key cogs, but, they're really trying hard in this game. And I applaud that effort. Of course, there are only so many players in a soccer team. You don't have like 22 guys and have an entire crew of second stringers. So even if you did want to give some guys a rest, you're still going to have to play some starters. This isn't like the NFL where you can just rest your entire 5-man offensive line if you wanted to. But Coach Neil Roberts has put his foot on the gas pedal here. Not a lot of unforced errors from either team. And this has just been some sound soccer going on right now at Emmett Field at home stadium. You know, the only remark I would have for Boston University is maybe they're not as aggressive as they normally are. And maybe those slew of injuries maybe scared off Coach Neil Roberts early on. I mean, there was like 4 players in the first half that had to be tended to by the trainer, and that had to worry Coach Neil Roberts. So maybe he's like, guys, maybe let's, you know, be smart. We'll be aggressive, but we got to be smart about everything. You know, no sense of trying to get a knee contusion. Now, one player that Boston University is sidelining and letting him rest in anticipation, hopefully, for the semifinals, which will begin next weekend, is Dominique Badji, one of their tri-captains, the senior from the Senegal, as that is wide. He's an electrifying player, big-time threat, 7 goals, 4 assists on the season. Now, he's just sitting out precautiously. Take a look at this last play here. Almost a bicycle kick in by Lucas McBride that would have won this game. Jesse Klug with the ball. Klug trying to swing past 4 defenders, but he just cannot break loose. I feel like Jesse Klug just needs a little bit of help. This will be a throw-in for Bedrosian. Floated away. Under 5 to go in our first overtime session. Chest stop by Brian Ward. Ward was one of the 6 seniors honored before this game on Senior Day. And Brian Ward literally has his entire extended family here in attendance. Cross in the middle, deflected, and this will lead to a corner kick. So a corner kick, just the 3rd of the game for the Terriers, and all 3 have come in the last 13 minutes of regulation and the first 6 minutes of overtime. So after going 77 minutes without a corner kick, they've gone with 3 corners in 19 minutes. Let's see what happens here. It's floated in the middle. And wow, a violent head away from Lansing. And slipping to the floor was Cameron Sorey. This ball's played in the middle, headed and knocked away by Rockmore. Will this be a corner? Players are waiting for a call. And it's going to be a throw-in, not a corner. So just missed clipping the flag, otherwise it would have been a corner. Just over 3 to play here in OT number 1. This is just the second all-time meeting between Bucknell and Boston University. Bucknell won. Bucknell lost last year, 1-0. Remember, this is the second year in the Patriot League for Boston University, after just having a dynasty in the American East Conference. Swung out in the center. Over to Duff Bedrosian. Little back tap to the keeper, Nick Thompson. Thompson is the only keeper that's been used all season for the Terriers. And they have 4 keepers listed on their roster, but they've only used 1 statistically this season, 18 games. It's a pass on the top of the screen, centered, but knocked away. Trying to get some positioning is Jordan Barker. But we'll play on, under 2 to go.